Hey guys, Slimber here, and today I'm munching on some fucking vegetables. And we're doing a video on Mark Dice. Here we go. Let's get right into this, shall we? This is always fun, and my comments are usually pretty fucking entertaining after this, so whatever, we'll just do this right now.
It turns out that there is a silver lining to the dark cloud that's been hanging over America's schools for the last year, which forced students to stay at home and engage in virtual learning, which is a literal waste of time and stunting their academic and emotional growth. That is, parents got to actually listen in to the lessons and got to hear what it is that some of these teachers were indoctrinating their children with.
Nobody's indoctrinating children. Listen, if anyone knows between me and Mark Dice, I think the person who's only been out of school a few years compared to the person who's been out of school for like 40 fucking years, I think I know a little bit more. But even then, I still have a little sister who's in school. I still have a nephew who's still in school. I have other family members that are still in school, and I've seen how it works with the whole Zoom shit. Nobody's being indoctrinated. You're full of shit. And if you hear that, it's probably from someone who's racist or gets too much propaganda from people like Mark Dice, Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, etc. Let me take that back. Actually, technically people are being indoctrinated, but not in the way Mark Dice wants you to think, or any of these other conservative commentators. Because, or even honestly, a lot of shitlib commentators, all of them don't want you to know too. People are being indoctrinated, alright. They're being indoctrinated to become subservient fucking workers, to become corporate slaves. And it's been that way since, like, maybe the Industrial Revolution and beyond.
Many parents are understandably upset about the systemic anti-white racism that's being spread through the form of critical race theory and Black Lives Matter propaganda, not to mention people's new problems with pronouns. Parents like the ones who showed up to this school board meeting in Virginia last night. It's not just the parents who are fed up with this foolishness. Many of the kids sense that there's something wrong with the teachers who constantly complain about America and white people, and many of them also have a very good grasp of what it is that's actually happening, like this high school freshman.
Hi, my name is Brad Taylor, and I just finished my freshman year at RHS. I've been a part of District 196 schools now for 10 years, and I'm going to give you a glimpse today of what's actually going on inside these schools. Despite the board's attempt to deny it, District 196 schools are quickly becoming a place where promoting activism is actually more important than promoting education.
Has it become a place where activism is being promoted over education? Has it? Did they make you make signs and go to rallies? Huh? Instead of teaching you math and reading and history, huh? I don't think activism is being taught over education, buddy. I think you're full of shit. I'm not trying to get harsh with a fucking 14-year-old, but yeah, like, here I am debating children because this is what Mark Dice apparently thinks is intelligent. So here we go.
I'll take you back to my first day at RHS this fall. The principal came out and gave us a heartfelt speech about equality and standing together. He began to list countless races, such as Latino, Asian, expressing how much they matter and how important they are. But never once did he mention a race or identity that reflects me, or half the kids that were in the class.
Did he need to, though? If half the kids were in the class were white, and the rest of the kids were all these other races, wouldn't that make you the majority and you wouldn't need to be mentioned? I think that's kind of obvious in your case. Also, I don't see what the problem is. What he said, the Asian, black, and Mexican kids are all equal with you guys? Is there something wrong with that statement? Because I would assume if there's something wrong with that statement to you, that would make you, what's the word? Racist.
To be clear, I don't need you to tell me that I matter, but hearing the condolences given to other races and leaving just one race out, it inevitably you'll start to feel like you've done something wrong.
No, not really. I mean, look, if you came up to me, somebody who's mostly white, right? If you came up to me and said, hey, Mexicans, black people, and Asians are equal, I'd be like, okay. Assuming I would automatically assume you're saying equal to me. And I'd say, okay, yeah. What's wrong with that statement? I still don't get, like, why. Look, if they came out and said Mexicans, Asians, and black people are equal, but white people aren't shit, I would understand why you are upset. I would fucking laugh at that, but I would understand why somebody would get mad at that. But it seems like you're just getting mad over fucking nothing.
And in our principal's attempt to unify us, he instead created unwarranted boundaries and barriers between his students, pitting us against each other based on characteristics that we can't control. In another separate instance, I was told that writing "All Lives Matter" on the whiteboard was political and could be seen as offensive.
It is. It literally is a condescending response to Black Lives Matter. It literally started from people saying, hey, Black Lives Matter, black people shouldn't be shot, they matter too, to, hey, sweetie, all lives matter. It literally was meant to reduce Black Lives Matter.
When I questioned the teacher after class, she told me that she didn't have an answer and she just had to erase it, and it was quickly erased.
Because, quite simply, the answer is she probably wasn't allowed to tell you, because telling you would be considered taking a political stance, as the actual reason behind it makes conservatives look like shit. Or maybe she just genuinely didn't know. To be 100% honest, normal people aren't that fucking versed into politics. Like, they're not that really interested for the most part. Like, they care when, like, a presidential election happens. But otherwise, they don't really give a shit. And this all started in 2014 during a midterm, so...
There are political signs all over RHS, about specific races that matter, specific sexual orientations that matter, and specific perspectives that matter. But when I questioned the RHS administration about how these signs were political, they told me that they were supporting human rights. So when I questioned why the equity statement couldn't represent all students, they told me that to even ask that question was outlandish and offensive.
Gee, for someone who says they don't need somebody to tell them they matter, you certainly want somebody to tell you you matter. So you know what? I'm gonna do it for you. You matter. You matter, kid. So don't try to go fucking kill yourself the next time you see a Black Lives Matter sign.
And when I asked why that was, they told me, quote, whites have a pretty good situation right now, unquote. So is that not racism? Disregarding my question merely because of the color of my skin.
Did they really disregard your question? You asked why, and they said, well, I mean, white people don't really need to be told that. They're doing alright. They gave you a direct answer as to why not. What are these fucking morons oohing for? Ooh, my friend Kyle just got shot by the police after he punched a hole in his wall while drinking Monster Energy drink. Like, come on.
I've been approached by multiple teachers who have told me in private that they just want to say that they agree with me and they support me standing up, but they can't say it in front of the class for fear of being disciplined by the administration in some way or losing their jobs.
This has literally always happened. It's annoying as fuck, and I get it, but it's always happened. Teachers have had to stay quiet. Here's the thing, right? When I was in school, when I was like 6, we weren't allowed to have Halloween parties because Christian parents threw a fit about it. We weren't allowed to be taught about fucking Reaganomics and how it fucked over this country when I was in fucking high school. In sex ed in high school, we weren't taught how to use the condoms on the bananas because a bunch of Christian parents complained the year before. Like, literally, this has always been the case, and teachers aren't allowed to be like, hey, yeah, this is fucked up. It happens. I had a teacher that used to tell us how much she hated Obama, and she'd tell us at, like, the dumbest fucking times. Like, I think I made a joke and blamed Obama for something. It was really fucking dumb. But obviously something he wouldn't do. Just, oh, don't talk about him. I hate him. It was just kind of like, well, I wasn't talking to you, and I don't care that you hate him, so fuck off. It's like, teachers have always not been allowed to say political beliefs, whether it's liberal or conservative.
Now, due to all these instances I've mentioned and many more that I can't fit in this 5-minute speech, I've decided to leave this district and continue school on a private Christian school online.
Yay! Yay! He's gonna go get indoctrinated by religious people now instead of, supposedly being indoctrinated to hate racism at school. Yay! We agree with those people though, so it's okay. Yay!
And there will be sacrifices, and I will not get to walk in the graduation ceremony or attend milestones at RHS, but I will be able to learn in an environment that is not intent on punishing me daily for my skin color and political views.
Punishment? Were you suspended, expelled, sent to detention, or ISS, or whatever the fuck they call it there, for your political views? I'll tell you what, I went to a school, a public school by the way, in a place called Pensacola, Florida. Well, actually it was Pace, Florida, but it was really close to Pensacola. A school called Sims Middle School, which, because I was an atheist, sent me to their little prayer group. Forced me to go to that. I think one of us got punished and the other didn't get punished.
Now, regardless of how you take my speech, whether you just shrug it off as malarkey or Fox News talking points, I encourage you to think about it, because someday I'm going to be a leader. I may be the president, a governor, or just a professional golfer.
Honestly, judging by your voice and the way you look, I'm gonna assume you're the next Ben Shapiro.
But I will never stop believing that everybody has value, no matter their skin color or personal beliefs. And it's a shame that you're not going to be able to say that I was an alumni of RHS in District 196. Thank you.
Oh, it gets even better. Here's a 9-year-old girl telling off her school board in Minnesota.
The other day I was walking down the hallway at Lakeview Elementary School to give a teacher a retiring gift. I looked up onto the wall and saw a BLM poster and an Amanda Gorman poster.
Oh my god, not Amanda Gorman! Who's Amanda Gorman?
In case you don't know who that chick is, she's some girl who did a poem at Biden's so-called inauguration. I was so mad. I was told 2 weeks ago at this very meeting spot, no politics in school.
I mean, I don't think their intention with whoever that kid is meant to be political. I think it's more supposed to be inspirational because, you don't consider that inspiring. A kid goes and reads a poem at the president's, not just like this president, but the last president, and the president before him, and the 43 before him. You don't think that's inspiring that they read that at their inauguration? Come on, I think that's pretty inspiring. Even if I don't like any of the presidents, it's pretty inspiring if a child read a poem at their inauguration. And with the Black Lives Matter thing, I mean, it is, but should it be that fucking political to say Black Lives Matter? Should it? I think it's only political to you. I think it's the only time there's a problem to say Black Lives also matter is if you're fucking racist and don't think they matter.
I believed what you said at this meeting. So at lunch I went up to my principal to tell him about the BLM poster and that I wanted it down. It is a political message about getting rid of police officers, rioting, burning buildings down while King Governor Welch just sits on his throne and watches.
So this kid has definitely been indoctrinated by their retards of fucking parents. In fact, I'm 99% sure their parents wrote this, as the literacy level is about 2 grades higher than hers. And, well, as you can tell, they're not very smart people, because they're writing this shit. Listen, do I oppose police? Do I think they should be defunded? Yes. Does Black Lives Matter as a whole organization? No. Does Black Lives Matter as a whole organization support burning down buildings? No. Do they support rioting as a whole? No. Just do Trump supporters as a whole support fucking breaking into the Capitol and trying to kill Congress people? No.
We all know. I am 9 years old and I know that.
No, you are 9 years old and being indoctrinated. Listen, you are being told this stuff by your parents. And I understand why you are, push heavy on it because your parents are your role models. They're supposed to be your role models at the very least. They're always right to you. But here's the thing, right? In 10 years, in 20 years, you might look back on this and think, damn, why did my mom and dad put me on this stage to try to push some really shitty political agenda? Why are my mom and dad such fucking retards? I mean, look, luckily my mom didn't put me on any stage when I was a kid well, sorta, but not this bad. Didn't put me on some stage to, explain some really shitty political agenda. She had some shitty takes that I've debated with her on, but thank God she didn't do this. But goddamn, people, stop indoctrinating your fucking kids like this. See, I think my dad had the best ideology on this, which is their kids, they're gonna repeat whatever dumb shit you just told them, and they're too young to understand politics. So don't try to indoctrinate your 9-year-old kids. When they're 13 and 14, they're old enough to start getting their own political ideologies, I guess. But for the most part, don't force your fucking beliefs on your kids. Don't talk about politics to your fucking kids when they're 9. Don't do it when they're 10. Maybe when they're 13, but don't be fucking, ridiculous about it.
Get the posters out of our schools. Courage is contagious, so be courageous.
I'm pretty sure that girl's gonna grow up to be a senator someday.
Honest to God, I think she could be a good public speaker when she grows up. I mean, I definitely don't think she wrote that. I think her very illiterate parents wrote that. But yeah, I think so. I would hope to God she doesn't end up a senator, though, if she stays on this path.
And possibly after that, the President of the United States. And when that time comes, she's gonna have a lot of work to do because the Democrats are probably gonna completely destroy America by then. We are well on our way to bankruptcy, as you know, and now with old Joe making Juneteenth another federal holiday, that makes 44 paid days off for federal employees every year. They literally get a month and a half of paid vacation days every single year.
What? How fucking dare they have time off? They are supposed to slave each and every day. It's bad enough they might get Sundays and Saturdays off. How fucking dare they take other days off? A month and 2 weeks? That's just too long. Mark Dice is legitimately the male equivalent to a fucking Karen.
But the Marxists who love growing the government and living off of the government will never be happy. For example, an IKEA location in Atlanta, Georgia is under fire for having a special menu to commemorate Juneteenth because it included fried chicken and watermelon.
Okay, I'm assuming he's done with the kids section, so I guess I'll end this video, but I'm gonna say that is fucking hilarious, first of all. That's fucking hilarious. I get the outrage, but I'm just gonna be honest, it's fucking hilarious. But leave a dislike, call me a child debating piece of shit, and Slimber out.